The point of like kind of having both of you is that you can sort of agree or disagree with each other or comment on each other's comments and things like that. Cool. So, what do you think about what do you think of Aalborg University's PPL model and group work in general, this model of learning? What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know. At times it feels like there's too much group work, I think.
Okay.
But also like working alone sometimes at home, but some other times it's nice to be in a group, for instance, in a project.
And when is each of them kind of good?
Oh, that's a difficult question. It probably depends on I don't know, if you are tired of people, then you don't want to work in a group, for instance, some days, and other days you're not tired of people, so then you want to work with people. If it makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
But how do you get tired of people? Or why do people make you tired? Or, when do you...
Well, it's like if there was some kind of drama or something, then you just want to do it yourself. Yeah.
I would agree with Mikko that it's a lot of group work, and that was something that I had to get used to, because the actual knowledge or the content of a project or something, you also had to deal with social facts. Like,
Okay.
You need to find someone that you are compatible with and who is also adding a lot of input, or if
Okay, so somebody who actually contributes to the process.
yeah, as long as you find people who contribute to the process and then you're aware of to what extent each of them contributes, then it's easier to work in a project, and it's not that easy to do that at the beginning, so it takes 1 or 2 semesters. So.
Yeah. What can be sort of bad about people, or what is a good groupmate, what's a bad groupmate, sort of?
I think the base of it is communication, because it's a bit difficult when you are working on a project and then you realize a couple of months after that you still have different ideas, different visions about the project.
Okay, wow. I see.
Yeah, I agree with that point. Yeah.
Okay, so that has to be pretty...
Mhm.
That has to be pretty difficult to deal with when even months in you're still sort of on different realms.
No, it's not the whole goal of the project, but it's just a small detail which would change a lot of things.
Okay, so what do you think about your group right now?
I
How
think
do you rate it?
it's good. We have some small.
Okay, of course it's hard to say when there are 2 of you here.
No, but it's not about us.
Okay, no, fair enough.
Yeah, but I think we also worked in the same group last semester. I think this semester worked much better, but it's probably because that we used much last semester to figure out how we worked. So, based on that experience, now I feel like it's working because I know how they work, most of them.
Okay, you got to know each other.
Yeah.
I saw you were quite focused and quite sort of down to the task. Out of all the groups I observed, you were kind of the most focused that I saw.
Maybe one of the reasons for that is that even though we meet daily, we are not here for 6-7 hours working on that. So when we get to work together, we try to
Okay, so would you say most of the work happens when you're not together, or?
Also that, but also when we actually get together, we are more focused on, because that we don't have so much time, or that someone has to go, or that someone is not there.
Right, fair enough. And then how do you coordinate when you're apart?
We use Slack.
It's we coordinate through Slack. But I don't know, it's also problematic because I know somebody in the group only can work if they are here.
I see.
In the group, and I like working alone at home with my task, and then come to a meeting, dedicate task, and then go home and work. But that's
Yeah. And you don't use, do you use any other platforms except Slack to?
We tried to use Trello, but it didn't work.
No?
It works the first month,
Yeah.
so
Okay, and
Then you
why-
also need
why-
someone who's taking care of it. Because
I see.
I think it's the assumption that it doesn't really work that we had from the first experiences.
Okay, so you had some bad experience with it in the beginning, and now it's...
It was the same that we started using it, and at some point we didn't see the reason of doing that.
Yeah. I see. So Slack is your main kind of thing.
We have different channels for some different parts of the project.
Okay, what are some difficulties that you kind of encounter on a daily basis, or what are things that, make it harder to work in groups? Say after you kind of met your group mates and you kind of know how each other works and stuff.
that was the thing I said before, that some people needs to be here and work in the group in order to do something, and there's other people who prefer working at home. So that's a difficult path to figure out to make it work. I mean,
Yeah.
Now the part is not entirely accepting other people's ways of doing things, and then you just think that your way is better, and then you end up changing that.
Okay, so there's agreement issues and like agreement issues. Or...
Yeah.
yeah, or like the need for to prove one's betterness or ego can where this will then result in destroying other people's work.
Yeah.
I see. Yeah, fair enough.
So, for instance, if somebody writes some code and somebody says, I can do it better, and just rewrite everything.
Without actually agreeing or trying to find.
Oh yeah, I see how that can become frustrating. Yeah, of course. Are there any things that kind of distract you when you work on group work? Either, so let's say, sometimes you work alone, sometimes you work together. But when you're in kind of the zone of working, the process of working, is there anything that kind of distracts you, keeps you from getting the work done?
I know, sometimes it's the noise, but not from the inside. It's from the outside. So it's pretty noisy.
Yeah, I noticed that the groups next to you and the one across the aisle are pretty damn noisy.
Yeah,
So that's
it would be external noise.
Okay. I experienced that problem as well, and we still kind of do it. Now it's a bit more chill because people are writing their bachelors and they're more focused, but yeah, it's a big problem. Anything other except that?
Well, with all the other accounted for, we mentioned earlier, then I don't think so.
I think it's also we had that once also, that we got some supervisor feedback, and then you think that you're gonna just go home or afterwards correct everything, but we ended up having stuff which was not corrected for 2 months or 1 month.
Oh wow,
Then when you go back through it, you see that it's not.
I see. So that's more like one of your members not kind of pulling his part of the work, or
Maybe it depends.
okay. Let me just see what else I have here. Okay. Generally, what? Oh, you want to say something? No. Generally, what would you say about the use of social media in your group? I know you noticed you mentioned Slack, but is there anything else that kind of appears?
Mainly use Slack.
Yeah. Some of us are friends on Facebook, but we rather use it.
Yeah.
Also, you don't have a Facebook chat or something like that?
No.
Okay. But do you feel that can distract you sometimes from working, or does it, like, certain platforms, do they sort of interfere with group work?
And that's why we started using Slack, because before we used in the previous semester we used Facebook group, and then when you started talking with someone in the group, then you might get distracted by something else, like the news feed. Or
Was that something that happened frequently, or?
we thought that it happened, so we agreed to move to Slack.
Okay, that's an interesting point. Mm-hmm. But okay, so but then do your group members sort of check social media or things like that during the group work, or do you feel that's a hindrance or a problem?
We have moments when we are talking about what needs to be done, and then we talk about those things in particular, and that's when everyone should be connected. And then we somehow split the tasks, and then that's your individual time, and then sometimes you might get distracted by looking at social media, but still we have to do that.
Mm-hmm. But in reality, you think it's a problem, or it's kind of
It is a problem.
Okay.
In general, not only in group work.
All right. How? What would can you say more about this?
If you're involved in a thinking process about something and then you might get distracted, then it takes at least 3-5 minutes to get back to where you were more.
Does that happen to you? Or?
I read a study about it recently. So
Oh.
I don't use that much Facebook in general, but yeah, I don't think it's a distraction for me. But if we have a meeting where we discuss the plan of the day, I can see it can be a distraction. Yeah, from. But I know I have a like if people want to be work and use Facebook, it's they can do that as long as they do their work.
Yeah, of course. I'm just trying to assess of how much of a plus and minuses, because I met groups that coordinate on Facebook and they use it in good ways, or other platforms, so that's kind of what I'm trying to assess whether social media, yes, Slack helps you, it seems, quite a lot, but that's kind of your main organizing thing. But then, if any other things sort of have a plus or a minus in your group work process. Kind of touched upon that, but if there's anything.
I think overleaf is also good
Overleaf, yeah.
for giving something like feedback to each other when you see that someone wrote a part and then you see that something is missing, or if a reference is not right, then you can leave a comment. But sometimes it's also a problem because once you've written something, it's rarely that you will go back and read it again from the file where you can see the comment. Mostly you're gonna read it from the PDF compiled file.
Oh.
So it might happen that you don't see the comments until you actually go to that file.
I see. Yeah.
And you don't get any notifications when you get a comment or something.
No, we don't. That's true.
Perhaps like the the comments you can do in Google Docs, for instance.
Oh, yeah.
Some kind of that mixed with overleaf would probably be better.
I see. So kind of an integration.
Yeah.
The same one. Oh yeah, that'll be nice. Cool.
So you get the comments in the face. Yeah.
Is there anything else you'd like to
I
add?
think that's mostly it. We're mainly using overleaf and Slack.
Yeah. Fair. I have some like responses. Yeah, that I would like you to complete. And about this use of social media in academia, and there are both pages. And then I'll have another small exercise and we're done.
What's like be social media?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I kind of consider it because it's relevant from this particular study. think it's a bit of a... Well, actually, I'll edit it afterwards. Right, awesome. Thank you. And then I have come up with some suggestions of social media platforms. Other participants have wrote other platforms, and I would like you to put them in this matrix, in this thing of like, from not distracting to distracting and not useful to useful, if it applies to your group work. So like, just take the ones that you think apply to your group work and then put them here. Also, if it's any that doesn't appear here, there are post-its and pens. So just the ones that are relevant, rate them.
Was it only if we have used them in group work?
Yes. Yeah, only ones that you think are relevant.
And not only for this semester, right?
No, in general in all work. Also if when you work at home or something, so work that is related to group.
Oh yeah.
Yes, when the extremes are on the
Yes.
edges of the paper.
Slack. So,
No, I think it might have been one of them. Okay.
yeah.
Are these your final ones? Cool. So you say Google Drive is not distracting and very useful.
Yes.
Could you just very quickly say why?
Well, we have all our PDF files, Google Docs, such in one storage, or AWS production as well. So there's- I don't see anything distraction with it, and I only see useful things with it.
Yeah, yeah. And then you say, I guess Overleaf is a bit similar, or
Yeah, it's the same.
and you put Slack kind of in the middle of distracting, not distracting. Why do you?
Well,
Like
because we
that.
also sometimes just write some shit. And
Okay. Does it happen often, or is it?
Yeah,
Or does it?
probably one or twice a day, perhaps.
And then you put like YouTube as distracting as Slack, but less useful, but still on the useful side.
Yeah.
So why is that?
Well, I think some YouTube channels are good at explaining stuff, but it's not that useful because it's not the best source.
No, that's right. Okay, and
And Skype is useful if you're sick and need to be at the meeting.
okay, so you use both Slack and Skype to.
Yeah, if you can't be there.
If you want to have video chat, then
Yeah. And Discord, you used that in the previous group, or
Yeah, same as Slack.
same as Slack. Okay. And then you put Facebook as very distracting, but still kind of useful.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Why?
Well, I use Facebook for the first semester instead of Discord or Slack. So it was useful in relation to communicate with the rest of the group, but it was kind of distraction.
Yeah, I see. That makes sense. And you also say Overleaf and Drive are not distracting and very useful. Could you?
yeah, I think that Overleaf is very good at allowing you to see the whole project and then to add everything you want. It's quite useful. I don't get any distractions.
No.
Google Drive is very good at exchanging files, and you spend very little time on it, but it facilitates the exchange really nicely. And then Slack is also useful, but maybe a bit less distracting than the other two, because as Mikael said, we have moments when we can have some fun there.
You mean a bit more distracting, right?
Yeah, it's a bit more distracting.
And then Trello is not useful, not distracting. That's because you.
Yeah, that's at least in the context of our project.
Yeah.
This is there right now.
Because you mentioned you don't use it because you don't see the reason
Yeah.
for it. Okay, and then on the other
I would say
quarter
that
we have.
these are, in the context of this project, these are not useful, especially these two, and they are very distracting.
Facebook Messenger and Instagram.
Yeah, yes.
How much of an impact would you say they have? They have like a bit of an impact or a large impact? Or?
Because you might spend like 5 minutes on each,
Mm-hmm.
and then it
Per
distracts you from something that you might.
5 minutes per hour or per day? Or per, I don't know.
Depends on how often you look at it. Maybe 5 or 10 minutes in 1 or 2 hours.
I see. And then YouTube is also come in somewhere in that ballpark.
YouTube is more like, it's not useful for me if I think about a project. But it's quite distracting if you exchange a video with someone and then you might look at something else and then it keeps distracting you from the work
Yeah, makes sense.
that you might have done.
Cool. If there's anything else you guys like to add?
No.
Okay, awesome. Thanks a lot.
That was it.
Yeah.
I noticed you only have